Hello. Welcome to the Ladies Ledoux Lunch here today. We're so excited to bring it to you today in a different format. However, we're actually at the Palliser Hotel in the same room that the Ledoux Lunch has been going on for a number of years. I'm Bob Thompson. If I could see all of you on the screen, I think I probably know all of you, and I'm very pleased to host and co-host today with Danielle Smith, who I think you all know anyway. So
I am delighted to be here as well. I've been told that these events normally go on for 3 hours. We're going to see if we can keep it tight today. You're going to teach me everything I need to know about this, Bob.
Yes, we're going to try. But for you ladies that have attended this event before, you know what it's like. It's just a massive show of glitter, glamour, wine, and laughter. And so I hope you're all still doing that today.
It's going to be awesome. This is our 10th anniversary event. It was supposed to take place on July 2nd, 2020, but of course had to be postponed. And so we're calling it the Texas Skip. Now, why are we calling it that? Florence Ledoux was the only cowgirl to claim 3 world championships for trick and fancy roping. At her retirement, Florence remained undefeated in the event. Florence is reputed to have been the first trick roper to perform the trick known as the Texas Skip. So with 2020, we thought it would be appropriate to call this and our postponement the Texas Skip.
Yes, exactly. And so we've got about a 90-minute program today. It's a full lineup. We got lots of special guests. We've got lots of video clips. We've got some feature segments like Lenore Buse-McLean will be chatting with Wendy Bryden about and sharing memories, personal memories about her life with Florence Ledoux. And we've got some fantastic lunch being served. Alison Keene, who's one of the great founders of this event, she's going to be chatting with Helen Rose regarding how to find beauty in chaos, which I think we've all lived in enough chaos, so that will be wonderful.
And one of my personal heroes is here today, Rana Ambrose. She is a very special recipient of the Ledoux Legends and Legacy Award. Yeah, you can hear that. Everybody is excited to have her here. You also saw as well some fashion provided by Audie Roy at Classic Rodeo Boutique. Before the show, you're going to see a little more of that a little bit later as well.
And as part of the tradition, and one of the main purposes of this gathering is that we'll be announcing the 8 new 2021 Ledoux Ladies Lunch Scholarship winners. In addition, we've got a live band here playing today. You'll be entertained by Roper and Scarlett Butler. Now, I just got to be clear on Scarlett Butler is not a single individual. It's actually Troy Coco and Joanne Delorier. They are jointly known as Scarlett Butler.
And also, to finish off the grand afternoon, we are going to have a door prize. It's a virtual door prize provided by our dear friends at Olna Life. And in addition, don't forget to go online. A ton of silent auction items. Go to ledouxladieslunch.ca. There's also a very special raffle on that site. You should explain that a little bit.
Yes, the raffle is outstanding. It is, Peggy Perry is here from Willow Park. She's a wonderful person and a wonderful community supporter in so many things, Peggy. So thank you for this generous donation of, now how many bottles of wine is it?
Oh, it's 120?
120 bottles of wine. So you have to buy a raffle ticket because you have an instant wine cellar with 120 bottles of wine. So that can be accessed through the online bidding situation there.
And we also want to do a shout out because we've got more people watching us as well.
Yes, yeah. So if you think this is just Calgary or Alberta, we would like a shout out to people that are in Toronto all the way through to Vancouver Island that are online watching today. So thank you for being with us today. We're going to have a great time. I just wanted to point out we're at the Ledoux Lunch here, and behind Danielle here, this beautiful saddle is actually her trick roping saddle that is typically on display at Calgary Stampede headquarters. So we're pleased to have that backing us up for this performance today.
Now, before we get to all that, here's a special land acknowledgement and blessing from 2021 Calgary Stampede First Nations Princess Fallon Manywound.
Daranastada, siza hanete tik a degoy cha adit a ata. Hey everyone, I'm Fallon Manywounds. My traditional name is Holy White Buffalo Woman. I am from the Tsuut'ina Nation, and I am your 2020 and 2021 Calgary Stampede First Nations Princess. I just want to start off by welcoming everyone here today. Let us acknowledge the Treaty 7 land on the traditional Blackfoot territory, which includes Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda First Nations. Let's also acknowledge the other First Nations, Inuit and Métis people whose ancestors have marked these lands for centuries. Sieskas. Please bow your heads and remove your hats. Niskaagulaga, Nikagamianis ina. Please, Creator, please watch over everyone here, their family and friends. Please continue to keep them strong and healthy. I ask you that you please bless this food and know that we are thankful for everything you send our way. Thank you, and sieskas. I hope you all enjoy your day and your lunch, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the Calgary Stampede. Nanias Tsane.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Fallon. You know, the Calgary Stampede is very, very proud of its long history and tradition with the Treaty 7 First Nations. And thanks to NMAX, a few years ago, we redeveloped the village into the Elbow River Camp, which is this spectacular
Amazing
location on the Elbow River. And so we're so pleased that they have been such an integral part of the fabric of the Stampede.
So glad we're having Stampede so we can all get in there and see that. Now we also have a grace today. Lenore Buse McLean is well known to many in the Alberta ranching community. It's become tradition at each of our events for Lenore to start our program off by saying grace. This is a grace that Lenore wrote herself, and she's saying grace from her ranch in Pekisko. She is seated in a very special saddle on a very special mare named Pixie Bar. Let's hear more from Lenore.
Riding today, I'm so proud of it. I inherited from Mrs. Weedy when she passed away in 1951. She had it designed and made by Claude Mills to her specifications, and it's just beautiful to ride, and it will go on down through the McLean family. This horse that I'm riding today on the ranch is a descendant of Guy and Florence Weedy's horses. I was brought up next to their ranch, the Stampede Ranch, west of Longview, the White Cross Ranch, which is owned by the Buse. I later went on to marry Roy McLean and moved east from the White Cross Ranch over into the Stimson and Pekisko area. Our land runs, our land is runs on Stimson and Pekisko Creek, and Stimson Creek was named from Fred Stimson, who was one of the first owners of the Bayou Ranch. Roy and I have 3 sons and 9 grandchildren, and they're all involved in agriculture on the ranch. And hopefully it'll just keep it going down to several generations. We are so proud of our ancestors before us, and they are also very proud of our ranch. Good day to everyone, and hope everyone is well out there. Once upon a time, a young girl called Grace ran away from home to join the Wild West show. It wasn't the proper thing for a lady to do, and many today would view it as irresponsible or a tragic waste. It wasn't. Grace found her longtime partner, went on to retire undefeated as world champion Lady Fancy Roper, helped launch what has become known as the greatest outdoor show on earth, established the first Canadian guest ranch, and inspired future generations. I was fortunate enough to spend much of my youth as a close neighbor and friend to Florence. She inspired me as a child not to fear the unknown. Lord, grant the courage to find our passion and to follow it. Give us the wisdom to show our gifts and inspire others to follow their dreams. Allow us to find happiness within ourselves and not to depend on others to provide it, and to live with a passion. Thank you for our fellowship and for our food today. Amen.
Good, thank you. That was a wonderful blessing. I'm pleased to be here on the stage to welcome a very, very special guest, the man at the top of the Calgary Stampede, the chief honcho, #1 cowhand, but more properly known as Steve McDonough, the president and chairman of the board of the Stampede. So welcome, Steve. Nice to have you here.
Thanks, Bob. Great to be here.
Yeah, and it's Steve and I have known each other for a long time, and back to the days he was running the grandstand show, and I was half running the rodeo at the time. So we've gone through the Stampede journey together through thick and thin.
We have, haven't we?
So, you know, we're coming out of this damn pandemic thing, and that feels good, eh?
Hell yeah, that's right.
You know, and last night there was really the first major Stampede event that was of significance, and that was roughly about 500 people showed up at the Nashville North tent down at the Stampede, and I was there, and I tell you, the feeling of walking in and seeing 500 people with cowboy hats, seeing smiles on their faces, which is you just can't do with a mask on, and there was handshaking, hugging, smiling, laughing, drinking. You know, it's part of the Stampede.
Felt
so,
like Stampede, didn't
how
it?
did that feel to you, Steve?
Oh, Bob, it was. It's the first major gathering we've had in Alberta in 16 months at least. I looked at the empty room when I got there and thought, I wonder who's going to show up. And sure enough, everyone showed up, and the energy in the room was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was. It was just a kickoff. It felt like we were coming through this business. You know, and I want to talk about the community a bit, because the Stampede is a community organization. The community has obviously suffered quite a bit through a lot of this, but what's your sense on the announcement that Stampede's going forth, and what the feeling is out in the community that you see from your lens?
It's an interesting question, because when we made the decision to go ahead with the Stampede, it was a pretty radical thought that we would be putting on the Stampede in July of this year. And since that time, first phase, second phase, and third phase, things have opened wide up. So we're happy. We're part of the community. Our 2,500 volunteers are part of the community, and it's feeling like the right thing to do. And, you know, I guess all those months ago, we felt it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you about that, because, you know, as you know, I was the president and chairman in 2013 was my first year, and that was the year of the flood. And there we had 14 days to clean the mess up, and there was the contemplation of whether Stampede was going to go ahead or not. Now you had this pandemic with changing information almost daily, and the sort of the concept of do we go or do we not go? How was that, and how compressed did you feel you had for time to actually pull this together?
Well, Bob, I still feel for you in 2013 with that flood and the decisions that had to be made very quickly. With ours, we had a longer time span, but on the other hand, we didn't know when the floodwaters were receding. So this pandemic, we didn't actually know or feel when it was going away. So what we did as an organization is asked our staff and our volunteers to actually plan 3 separate Stampedes. 3 Stampedes, small, medium, and kind of big, and we're at that kind of big. But each one of those had different elements of it. So the amount of permutations, combinations of what the Stampede might look like, it's still changing even as we're setting up today.
Yeah, I could sense that. Going to the event last night, it still opened my eyes to see, you know, hot dog stands going up and some midway rides, and I thought, wow, this is going to happen. It'll be a little bit different, but this baby is going forward.
It's going to happen. Come on down.
So yeah, and how have the volunteers been? Are they fully engaged?
Well, like everyone in society right now has their different level of comfort in getting back into going out and seeing people. Last night, people showed up in masks, and then they weren't masks.
Right.
Our volunteers are doing the same thing. They're gauging it, what feels safe for them. But the Stampede as well is doing testing of COVID testing for rapid testing for volunteers. The safety is top of mind. That's what we are doing. We're promising safe Stampede.
That's excellent. And one final question is, you've got a new sidekick following you around a bit at the Stampede, which is the new CEO that has been announced for the Stampede. So perhaps you could just
Sure, Joel Cowley. So,
who is in the room tonight.
Well,
So,
I think he's got a pretty good gig. It's taken me to become president after 40 years, and I've never been invited to this lunch, and he's sitting over there having lunch. So
Joel is, we're welcoming him to Calgary. He's fitting right in. I was out at a rehearsal this morning at 8:30, and who do I see but Joel standing on the stage. So he is here to meet everyone. He's going to meet everyone in the room, I'm sure, and he's been doing a great job.
Joel will be a great leader. I met him a number of times as he was leader of the Houston Livestock Show, which is a very big event in Houston and in Texas. So we're welcome to him. Well, you've got a full 10 days in front of you. Best of luck in your duties, and thank you for your leadership, and just keep plugging away at it. And thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Mr. President. All right.
Yeah. Now, I just want to, we're going to run to a short video message from our Stampede royalty, the Stampede Queen, Kelsey Moore. So we're pleased, and I'm not sure if she's here today, but we've got her on the video. So Kelsey, it's up to you.
Hello everyone, and thank you for having us here at your virtual event. We are overjoyed to be here with a group of wonderful women who embody what it means to be a cowgirl. This means tenacity, innovation, imagination, and work ethic. Congratulations to all the scholarship recipients, and we want to thank all you women for supporting us in our work in the community and around the world. My name is Kelsey Moore. I am the 2021 Calgary Stampede Queen. I have grown up in Calgary my entire life around horses, and I've been a professional dancer as well, traveling the world, and I am now a personal trainer and dance teacher and love to help those around me. I wanted to be a part of royalty because I saw what it means to be a leader in the community. Being a leader means you show up, you do the work, and you help one another. It is not about who has what and who doesn't have what. It is about being part of a community and a family. I really want to thank you for having us, and we wish we could be there in person, but we will see you next year.
Bob, that was an awesome video and an
It
awesome
was
interview
great.
too. I can't imagine. I mean, did you think that it wasn't going to go ahead, the Stampede this year? It was kind of touch and go, sounds like.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't go there in my mind.
It
you
just
know.
had to go. The show had to go on.
Show has to go on.
Well, and this show's going on too. Joel and Steve are back at the tables having a delicious lunch. And even though we all couldn't be here to share a meal in the Crystal Ballroom today, we've got a pretty good turnout here. We did want to make sure that you still had the opportunity to enjoy the incredible lunch and wine that's become a tradition. As usual, Executive Chef E here at the Fairmont Palliser has found a way to create something spectacular with his French bistro box. And here is Executive Chef E and Emma Bertrand, Creative Director of Côte de Rose, to tell us more about what it is that we are eating and drinking today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Different circumstances than before, but we're still super excited to cook for you. This is the bistro box that you'll be enjoying today. And you know, we took the whole theme of French and being inspired by the bistro. So today you're having a lovely cold chicken salad with green beans, some lovely beets, and then paired off with that for dessert, you're gonna have a beautiful creme brulee with a macaron and a lovely wedge of brie, all to be enjoyed with your bottle of rosé that was provided to us by Willow Park. Peggy is a champion and I love her dearly. Normally every year I'm talking to you in the dining room, but we can't. And I really hopefully look forward to cooking for you next year and we can do this in person. Enjoy your lunch.
Hello ladies, I am Emma Bertrand, the creative director of the brand Côte des Roses and also the daughter of its founder, Gérard Bertrand. I'm here today to explain to you a little bit about the wine and the range. So it's a range of 4 wines which are made with love in the south of France. So why made with love? Because as you can see there is a nice rose on the bottom and you know that the rose is the universal symbol of love worldwide. And also the wine is made in the Languedoc on the coast of roses. So it's a real place and it was very important for us to give a name to the bottle which represents its terroir, of course. I know that today you're going to try the Côte des Roses Rosé. I hope you'll enjoy it. It's a very fresh and floral wine which I personally completely love. It's really my go-to for summer. So I hope that you'll enjoy. Please let us know if you liked it, and I wish you all a very good tasting.
Well, there you go. You know, I love rosé, but I think the French invented that to be conducive to drinking during the day.
I think you're right. And Emma, wasn't she awesome? She geared up in all the
Yeah.
Western gear with that wonderful French accent. Maybe she should give a little bit of fashion
Yes.
inspiration to Audi Roy. We're going to be seeing a little bit more on their fashion show a little bit later today. A little bit later, we are going to also be announcing our scholarship winners for this year. Here's a word from a former scholarship winner, 2020-2021, Miss Rodeo Canada, Alicia Erickson, to talk a little bit about the impact Ledoux Ladies Lunch has made on her life.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Erickson, Miss Rodeo Canada 2020 and 2021, and one of the very lucky recipients of last year's Ledoux Ladies Luncheon scholarships. Now I've already went to school and completed my Youth Justice Studies diploma, and I'm looking forward to going back to school and obtaining my Bachelor's of Social Work. Not-for-profit organizations like the Ledoux Ladies Luncheon are a blessing in a cowgirl's eyes. School is already such a stressful time, and when you can take away a little bit of that monetary stress, it makes your life so much easier. So thank you, Ledoux Ladies Luncheon and Ledoux Ladies, for making this cowgirl's life a little bit simpler throughout her education.
That's wonderful. You know, it's not just sort of beauty and talent the royalty have at these rodeos in Canada and the United States, but they are leaders in the community, and a lot of people look up to them and what they do in the community.
Completely.
So that was really nice.
And what a great opportunity for mentorship that Ledoux
Yes.
Ladies Lunch also provides as well. And I'm so glad to be able to promote our sponsors this year. Our relationship with the BMO is extra special. 3 BMO Calgary business leaders decided to take over the sponsorship, and we're lucky enough to have Cheryl Sandercock, Managing Director and Co-Head of BMO Capital Markets Energy, in attendance with us here in the Palliser. Yeah, you can hear that. Also watching virtually with guests, we have Alison Hakamaki, Senior VP and Head of Prairies for Canadian Commercial Banking, and Megan Meager, she's Regional President, BMO Private Wealth Prairies Region. Thank you so much to your teams at BMO for your support.
Excellent. I would like to acknowledge a diamond sponsor, Willow Park Wines and Spirits. That's good Peggy Perry's work there. And as I mentioned earlier, the raffle for 120 bottles of wine, and 8 virtual tastings along with that. So you just put that in your noggin there for a minute. If we end up in another lockdown, you know, you're covered. So
that'll last you about a month or two.
yeah, that should get you by. And it includes tickets to a wine tasting events, and it's a great package. So thank you to Willow Park, and thank you, Peggy.
That's fantastic. Though also from July 7th to 9th, 15% of all net sales at Willow Park are going to be donated to Ledoux Ladies Lunch. So even if you don't win today, absolutely, make sure you go in and get your wine cellar fully stocked. We also want to acknowledge our platinum sponsor, Pacific Wines and Spirits. Linda Robinson there was responsible for bringing in the Côte de Rose Rosé that we're drinking this afternoon. Our silver sponsor is Thermotex Therapy Systems Limited, Wendy Doherty. Silver sponsor, MMB Wealth Management, Andrew McManus, Drew McIntosh, Chris Burns, and our turquoise sponsor, the Fairmont Palliser Hotel. Michelle Terrell has been fantastic in organizing this today, and they've been so generous in their support over the years. Please honor our sponsors, and we are just going to hear this very special word from our main sponsor.
Well, that's great. Thank you, BMO. I think I'd also just mention that not only is BMO sponsored the lunch today, but in very heavy partnership with the Calgary Stampede on the massive expansion of the convention business here in Calgary. So they're great partners. So we're going to talk a little bit about Leonore Buse and ranching, and prior to a good video. And
you know what? You did a good job of explaining to me exactly where the ranch is located. I'd love for you to tell that story so people can situate it.
I talked. Yeah, generally about the ranch is out kind of in the Longview area at the end of the day. The Buse, she's a Buse, and so if you just take the highway just west, straight west out of Longview, you cross the front door of the Buse ranch there.
That's beautiful country there.
And it is beautiful country, and it's pure ranching country. If you just drive slightly beyond that gate, you hit the OH Ranch, which I think a lot of people know was kind of famously, well, first it was owned by one of the big four founders of the Stampede, Patrick Burns, and ultimately bought. And then recently, as 2000, Bill Siebens bought the OH Ranch and donated 8,000 acres of it to the Calgary Stampede.
That's fantastic.
So just past the entrance to the Buse, you pass what is now the OH Calgary Stampede Ranch, which is a spectacular piece of property. Then you continue a little further down the road, and you get to the original Stampede Ranch, and it's still in existence today and thriving. And so the whole community, the whole ranching community from there really all the way down to the border is something to revere. And the way they preserve the land, how they work the land, how their efforts at conservation just through the management of their own properties is something that all Albertans should be proud of.
Absolutely. It's so worth a road trip to go and drive past all that beautiful property. We're going to get to see Lenore in conversation, but before we do, let me tell you just a little bit more about her. Lenore has been ranching in southern Alberta all her life. She won the 4-H Leadership Award, a commemorative medal for 125th anniversary of Confederation for her outstanding contributions to community, a commemorative medal for the Queen's Golden Jubilee for being an exemplary citizen with the community, and a 2005 Stampede Legacy Award. She's been recognized for her outstanding contributions to Alberta ranching and agriculture by the Historical Society of Alberta, and in 2013 was honored as the first recipient of the Ladue Legends and Legacy Award. Now, she sat down with Wendy Bryden, and let me tell you just a little bit about Wendy. Wendy Bryden has sat on committees and government advisory councils, taught visually impaired, deaf, and amputee children to ski. She wrote a commemorative book on the 15th Olympic Winter Games, and in 2012, she published the best-selling book, The First Stampede of Florence Ladue, the true story of Florence and Guy Wiedeck, and the beginning of the Calgary Stampede. We went to the Stinson Ranch with a film crew, and we caught the two of them in conversation. Here it is.
Well, Lenore, here we are again at your beautiful ranch in Longview, Alberta.
I'm so glad you came down to visit today, and we could have a little chat about Mrs. Wiedeck again. That was so in my life.
Oh my
that
gosh.
I think she's just amazing.
Yeah.
And it helped shape me for my life.
And how many people could say, other than the fact that you're a third-generation Alberta rancher, that they were mentored by Mrs. Wiedeck, who was one of the most famous cowgirls ever and wife of the founder of the Calgary Stampede?
I would say she was. I don't think there would be another trip roper like her or that could ride like her. She was amazing.
Yeah.
And she sure helped shape my life, as well as my parents, but I really looked up to her.
Oh, Lenore. And wasn't it wonderful that I was able to read about her in the Calgary Herald in 2002, and they had done a little feature on you when you had gone to Fort Worth, Texas, where there's a Cowgirl Hall of Fame. Who knew there was one? I certainly didn't. And you had accepted her award, being inducted into Hall of Fame, the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. And the Herald did a little story about you. And I thought, holy moly, there's someone alive who knew Mrs. Wiedeck? So I phoned you, and that's how it all started.
And it was so nice you did, because a lot of people have phoned, but nobody really serious about doing a book. But it was such an honor for me to go to Fort Worth, because she has no living relatives whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So it was a real honor to be down there, and it was well chosen that she
had got the award.
Yes, because it's quite unusual for Canadian, although she, I suppose, was dual citizen really, but I mean,
would think
in actual fact, she was Canada's. We certainly claim her in Calgary anyway.
But they so loved the area, and they could have gone to Hollywood or wherever they were asked to go, but their home was on the Highwood. So we were lucky to get two great Americans that made their home in Alberta.
Yeah.
And of course, promoting the Calgary Stampede and getting it organized, and all the money it's brought into the city, and the greatest outdoor show on earth. What more could we expect?
I know, and she gave you this sense of duty to the Calgary Stampede, that you, in fact, after they had passed away, you and your husband Roy were the ambassadors at the 50th anniversary of the Grandstand performance, and you were Guy and Florence Weedick.
That's exactly right. And for Roy, my husband, to ride Guy's saddle in the parade, and of course the one I inherited, I rode.
Beautiful one.
As well as I rode the mare that followed behind the funeral car for Guy Weedick. So it was very touching.
Well, I mean, as you say, they could have lived anywhere in the world, and weren't we lucky that they chose to stay in Alberta and start this wonderful stampede that we have now? I mean, really.
It was really a wonderful thing that we must never forget.
Yeah.
Where the roots started for the greatest outdoor show on earth.
That's true. And it's time we gave her some accolades, because it took us 100 years for people to even know her. And you, I noticed, mostly call her Mrs. Weedick, but her stage name was Grace Maud Benso. Well, that was her maiden name that she was born with.
That's exactly
But when she ran off to join the circus, which is all in the book, folks, if you read it, then you'll realize that she changed her name.
That's right.
So her father couldn't find her, really. I think that was one of the reasons.
Well, he thought it wasn't really for a lady to do, but he loved her just the same, and her stage name was Flores Ledoux.
Flores Ledoux. And when I speak to school children about her, I always have to remember at the end of the speaking to remind the children that there was a reconciliation with her father. At the end, and then he came up to Alberta to live with them.
Exactly.
When he got older.
He died at the Stampede Ranch that Guy and Flores Weedick owned, and he passed away there.
Yes. And they're all buried in High River.
Exactly.
At the cemetery there. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful drive out there to see it if you want to see that part of history. And he's buried there. So they did have a reconciliation, but she was a very headstrong young woman, and she didn't want to stay in boarding school and ride English, and she wanted to run away and join the circus, and she did.
Well, she was also very, that you must learn everything in life, and you must get an education, she said, because if you lost your husband or something, that you needed to go on to make a living.
Yes.
So she was way far beyond her time than women doing all they could do in that age also.
Yes. And so we could go back to when she first knew you, when your parents had started having children and had lots, and then you came along, and for some reason, I think being next door neighbors to your family, or she had a real special feeling about you, and you went over as a babe in arms with your mother, and they said, this could be your little girl too, we'll share her with you. And from the very beginning, she took you out on her horse, on a pillow, on this saddle, and cuddling you and riding all up through this wonderful, spectacular country where the OH Ranch is today.
Well, she was so great, and not only that, but to make sure that she always wore a dress, except when she was riding, then it was pants. But she always made sure that I had lovely dresses and hats. And these presents I thought were also super. And at that day and age, you started a hope chest. Probably your mother's told you about that, Wendy. So she started me with the hope chest. And I thought, oh, I don't know why she's got this hope chest, but I sure enjoy the hats and the clothes. And So that was.
She must have had fun
very
doing
nice.
that for her.
And
Because you
then-
were just like her little girl, really.
And another thing, I had to go away to boarding school and only got home twice a year when I was 6 years old. And then going to a boarding school that wasn't my language, it was French. And she encouraged me that to get an education was a very important thing. So that helped me to stay at the school because.
You must
wasn't
not have
easy.
wanted to leave her when you were 6 years old. Did you cry? And
No, I actually didn't, which was quite a surprise because I learned to fend for myself because coming off a ranch was very different. But then my parents changed me to a school in Calgary, a boarding school, and it was much better because it was uniform and we spoke our own language, which was English.
were there no schools here at the ranch?
No, we lived 10 miles and there was no way to get to school. There was schools, but
So that's
we
why
would
you
have to
went
be
away to
driven
boarding school.
and you couldn't get out in the winter time. We were very isolated.
Right. Yeah. So that's well, that must have been quite a pull for you and your heartstrings to leave her at 6 years of age. But then you'd be home for the summer.
And then there's no cell phones or things like, so we looked for the mail. So she sent me, as well as my parents, lots of mail, and I looked for that when mail day was.
Did she give you your first horse?
Well, I had horses that on the ranch also, but she gave me my first show horse. And her name was Pixie. So my last of the horses that I'm riding now, I called her Pixie.
And did she say someday you'll get married? And you probably thought, I'm never going to get married.
That's right. Till I married this handsome fellow that I married from meeting him in the parade in about 1956 or so.
Yeah.
I was best dressed cowgirl and he got best dressed cowboy. So we led the parade and got acquainted
And you have a little grandson now named Roy McLean.
Exactly. And Roy was also very good with the ranch at growing crops and cattle and everything. So he was well versed.
Yes. And how do you like cooking for all these cowboys? That's a big job.
Well, you just grow up with it and you know it's the job that has to be done. Like Mrs. Wiedek said, that's your duty.
That's true. But you told her you weren't going to be a cook. You weren't going to do stuff like that. You were just going to ride horses.
That's exactly
And what did she
right.
say to you?
She said to me, how are you going to teach? I told her I was going to have a maid and she said, well, how can you teach the maid if you don't know yourself? So she always had very good answers for me and I paid attention. At least I'm sure I did.
Because she was a good cook.
Yes, she was.
One of the people I interviewed said she made really good pancakes.
She did, yes. It was very good. Yeah.
When she ran her guest ranch. Did you ever help her on the guest ranch?
No, because the guest ranch was shut down before my mom and dad were married because of the war and everything. There was nobody traveling. No.
But they had the first guest ranch in Canada.
First, that's exactly right.
Yeah. I don't know if this is your dearest possession, but I think it is so beautiful. And it's Mrs. Wiedek's saddle that you inherited when you were 12 years old.
Exactly. And it was, I think, the greatest moment in my life to receive this saddle when I was 12 years old. I just couldn't get over it. And for her to put it in my possession to take care of it. It was
what a
really,
gift.
and be able to ride it. And this blanket came, it's called a Corona. Now this is pure wool and it's been in rain and everything and it's really held up
Just
good.
like new.
And often people say to me, if your house went on fire, what would you grab first? I said, Mrs. Wiedek's saddle. 'Cause
So
I
that
treasure
says
it
something.
So much.
That tells us something.
Yes.
And are these sterling silver?
Yes, those are sterling silver too. And this breast collar wasn't Mrs. Wiedek's, but it was mine. It's a Vasalia. And it was made probably in the 30s. And to be able to ride this saddle for the 50th year of the Stampede and also the 100 year with your book, Wendy.
Yes. Oh,
It was very, it was just great. And then I also wrote it in 2001 for when we were chosen for the Alberta Beef Campaign. Us three
Yes.
ladies. I wrote
Yes.
it that year also.
Because that's another thing we should talk about is you riding this saddle in your Alberta beef campaign that was so popular and won many awards. Didn't
It did. It really did.
Well, this is what's so fun about you, because you do not announce yourself. People discover you, which I did, and it's a very enduring quality.
Well,
It's so
I've
lovely.
enjoyed my life. As I said, it's been a whirlwind, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a very good husband. I always I wanted to have a good horse and a good husband, and I got both.
I know. Isn't that? I love it when you say that. Well, now, may I ask you about your gloves?
these
When
are-
you were waving, when that fella said,
Oh,
goodbye,
yeah.
girls.
Well, these gloves are made by the Stoney Indians, which Vera Daniels, which I always called her my second mom because she looked after so much on the ranch. And I lived at their camp site also. And she just sewed beautifully, and she made these gloves.
And this is when you had all the friends that were First Nations, weren't
That's
they? In
right,
the
yeah,
summertime, they
yeah.
were your friends. They all came to help.
Before they bought the ranch at Eden Valley, which they bought in about, I think 47 or something like that. I think that's about the date. But they came to spend the summer with us, this family, because during the war years, we couldn't get people to work. They were all at war. So they could go back and do our fencing and camp. And so I lived with the family sometimes, so they became very close to us. And she made me these gloves when I lived at the camp. Like, we'd be out picking the berries with them and everything. I would eat right with them. And then when the bears came to the berry picking place, she would tell us, Hunchaboo means everybody come in Stoney. And of course I stayed there because I thought, I'm not scared of bears. So she picked me up and gave me a swat on my back, and I got moving, because when the bears come in, they want the patch, you leave. So I had lots of life teaching from Vera Daniels, who I called my second mom.
Well, Lenore, it's really been a wonderful thing, writing this book with you.
I think my enduring memory of Mrs. Weedick was her serenity in dealing with what they had dealt her, in the hustle and bustle of a life of promotion and the ups and downs of tourism industry. She calmly went forward, dealing with the trials of everyday living with a touch of class. Her life lesson for me: choose the things in life that grant you your freedom. Don't tie yourself in knots with things you cannot control, and get an education. And education was always really told me that was a good thing to have. And I do believe it. It's very important for ladies.
Well, nobody
as
could
well.
say that better than you. And I think that's a nice note to wrap up on.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Oh, well, it's been an enjoyable afternoon.
Yes. And let's hope the ladies' lunch continues.
Oh, for sure.
Quite some time.
And it's very nice that Alison Keene with her ladies have got this going, as you and I have talked about, and seem to get bigger and better every year.
Oh, it does,
Just like the
doesn't it?
Stampede.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that was fantastic. You know, speaking of fashion,
It doesn't surprise me at all that Lenore was best dressed, because check this out. Alison mentioned the Alberta beef ad, and if you see that, you'll recognize it. If it ain't Alberta, it ain't beef. And look at that fashion plate right in the middle there.
yes, and there was life-size cutouts of those all over Alberta during the time, and it was like something to revere.
It's amazing.
I don't know where they are today, but
Well, speaking of fashion, we do know that Audi Roy has a fashion show for us normally every year. They opened their first retail location in Okotoks, and the store was relocated to Nanton on June 13th, 2020. They brought it a little bit closer to home here. They launched CRB in its new home on Pine Creek Road at Heritage Point. They've been producing the fashion show for 7 years. So this is our 8th fashion show. And because of the pandemic, Audi agreed to film fashion videos on location that we can share with you today.
now, before we jump into that, I do want to make a point that right now at Audi's store at Heritage Point, I think there's a large gathering of gals drinking and having a great time. And it includes my wife. And I'd just like to mention this.
You better mention your wife, because Lenore mentioned the horse before she mentioned her husband.
I know.
So that gave the
And I just
impression
would
that's
like
a
to
priority.
mention that I have good horses, and I have a good wife. She'd be a great wife if she would just quit leaving me a list on the kitchen island every day of things that I have to do. That's my pitch, but a good horse is a good wife. It goes a long way. And so I hope all the girls out there at Heritage Point at Audie's store are having a great time.
And in the video, you're also going to recognize one of the models, because we heard from her earlier, Alicia Erickson. And joining her is Doctor of Traditional Chinese Medicine, Naomi Wagleitner.
Well, what do you think of that?
I'm gonna have to go to that store on my way home today. That was amazing.
That is some high fashion.
No
high
kidding.
fashion displays there, and it's a wonderful part of the Western world is the fashion twist on it.
It's so true. When I came in, I actually saw a couple of the ladies wearing some of the designs there. So
Yeah.
I think we have our own fashion show going on here as well.
Yes, we do, for sure. Well, it's time for some live music. We've got our band, Stacey Roper and Scarlett Butler here. You know, they're actual 3-time CCMA award winners, which is very impressive. And they're a songwriting duo, and they've collaborated together on a bunch of music, the three of you. And recently, they put out their first single called Love Me California, which is a wonderful title. And they're going to play that for us today. So welcome, and the stage is yours.
Checking myself in your wayfarers, you're laying me down like a beach chair, like a staying out all night Catalina sunrise, pulling me in like a riptide, lighting me up like Rodeo, show me off like I'm Hollywood fame-o, raining dollar bills, hitting Beverly Hills, talking 24 karat sugar cheap thrills. Oh, you love me like California. You love me like California, Mulholland High, never-ending summer night, swaying like a palm tree, the wheel ain't on me. You got me, you love me like California. It's a top-down caddy on the left coast, a red wine kissing Monticello, a Bakersfield down home 3-chord love song, sweeter than the sun on the 101. Oh, you love me like California. Oh, you love me like California, Mulholland High, never-ending summer night, swaying like like a palm tree the way you lay it on me. You got me, you love me like California. Laid back, good vibes, digging on you like a gold mine. The way you hold me, you know me, you show me, you love me like California. Oh, you love me like California. Ooh, come on. Oh, you love me like California. Oh, you love me like California. Mulholland High, never-ending summer night, swaying like a palm tree the way you lay it on me. You got me, you love me like California. Yeah, you do. Oh, you love me like California. Cali, baby.
Thank you.
Nice work. Great lyrics. Good sound. Thank you so much. Well, we've got, we want to talk about some of the charity work that the Ledoux Lunch executes, which is the foundation of all of this, is helping ladies in the community in varying ways. So, Danielle, why don't you introduce the work of the charity?
You bet I will. So it's not just wine and food, although that's great. We've also talked about mentorship. We've also talked about scholarships. But in addition to scholarships, Ledoux Ladies Lunch now donates to 10 charitable organizations. We call it Sharing the Wealth. Once the scholarship program is funded, we share the funds with these 10 incredible recipients. All of these organizations foster and support the education and well-being of women and children. And here's a video just showcasing some of these organizations.
Stronger than ever. It's stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever.
Everyone can thrive in safe and empowering relationships. This is Rowan House's vision.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We could not have done this without you.
On behalf of Homefront, thank you and best of luck with this year Ladies Ledoux Luncheon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello everyone from the Calgary Stampede's Youth Campus. My name is Sarah Hayes and I have the pleasure of serving the Calgary Stampede Foundation as its Executive Director. Thank you for including us in this wonderful digital event today. We've had a wonderful partnership with the Ledoux Ladies Lunch since 2017 and we're just so proud to be part of this wonderful event and gathering of people who believe in the cowgirl spirit.
The Women's Center of Calgary is a place where community happens.
Well, there we go, and that's some of the great work that comes out of this extensive Ledoux effort luncheon. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out to a table full of gals at the back there who run the Calgary Stampede Foundation. You saw a bit of Sarah Hayes, the executive director, and they work tirelessly at promoting and working with in the foundation's goals of youth and everything from young Canadians to
awesome.
To show band and that. So great work, gals, and hope you're enjoying your lunch.
All right, round of applause there. Way to go.
Now, I can't say enough about Allison Keene, and so there she is. She's going, no, you just don't say anything. She's sitting across the room here trying to give me the don't say anything about me, and I'm not going to go long and hard about this, Allison, but you were the founder and the strength of this lunch, and you were persevered any challenge that came at you, and you're an inspiration in many ways to all the people here and that have crossed at the Ledoux Lunch in the past. Now, Allison's going to have a conversation with a gal, Helen Rose, who Allie met on the ski hill, and they became instant friends. And it doesn't surprise me because Allison has spent a lot of time on the ski hill, and if you get on the chairlift with her, it's hard not to become an instant friend. And if you don't become a friend on the chairlift, I've had a few cocktails with her at the local ski lodge post-skiing. So anyways, Allison, it's over to you.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you, Danielle. You guys are doing a great job, really great. Thank you. So here I am with my instant buddy, Helen. So we just saw the wonderful video with Lenore, and she mentioned serenity and touch of class. I mean, she was talking about Mrs. Wiedeck, Florence Ledoux, but I think that Lenore embodies serenity and a touch of class. And so that got me thinking about our talk about the beauty and the chaos. So what brought you to the workshop, the development of the workshop, Finding the Beauty in the Chaos?
So my life experience, so I was a child of the foster care system, and I had spent a great deal of my life not understanding where I belonged. I didn't think I belonged anywhere. And there just was all of these events in my life that led to where I am today, where it's so important to understand your journey and find the gift in what's happened with the people you've met along the way. One of the things that I loved about Lenore is that we were talking earlier, she's surrounded by peace. That's a very powerful place to sit. And I'm almost betting that she had to go through a lot of stuff in order to, you don't just bounce from birth to peace, for sure.
Oh no, I mean, when she mentioned being sent away at age 6 to a boarding school, which is a convent boarding school, and no one spoke English. And, but she also has shared with me over the years that she and Roy went through big difficulties on the ranch, drought and family issues and high interest rates, economy, but they managed to make it through.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is when you're standing in those moments, when you're not sure you're going to be able to move forward, you're not sure what your life is going to look like, that's where you do start to find the beauty and you find the gift of why, the most important thing is where you're standing today. And I think it's really important to note that you should go back and explore your journey. And one of the things that I like to say is, it's really important to kind of sit and wallow in poo for a little bit, right? So because what that does is it's easy to pick the emotions of the low-hanging fruit of glad, mad, sad, happy. But what really is when you start to dig under that. So some of the words, when I watched that beautiful video of that amazing woman, you know, some words that were really important. So one of them is courage. And I think you're not aware that you have it. It's like I heard this great term is when you're a fish in water, you just swim. You don't know you're a fish, right? So you're kind of going through that. And one of the things too is when you're aware, when you become aware of what your journey has been, that's where a great deal of power comes from. Because then you can sit and you can really sit in those emotions and honor them. And yeah, I mean, I could talk about this for like 6 hours solid, but you get to choose. That's another word. You get to choose who you are today, despite yesterday.
Is that what inspired you to tell your story in 53 Grove Road?
Yeah, you know, I had to make sense of what I had experienced as a young girl. It had to have a purpose. I remember the first time I was speaking to my therapist, she said to me, you know, Helen, it's really easy to be a victim. And I remember I was really mad when she said that because it was kind of like, yeah, but look at all this stuff that's happened to me, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it did strike me as, again, it's a choice, right? Yeah. It is easy to sit and lie and, like I said earlier, wallow in that poo and never get out of it. But then you're missing out, and the gifts that you find in that journey is you can pay it forward to other people. And that's exactly what I do with my workshop, Beauty in the Chaos.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, is you face your story, but you honor your story.
Absolutely.
And and understand your emotions. It's okay to have them, but understand them. Okay?
And no emotion is wrong. And you can't change what's happened, but what you can do is change how you carry it. And to that point is to tell your story. And we were saying that earlier. Tell your story to whomever will listen, because you don't know what their journey has been. And everybody has a journey, and it doesn't have to be the very worst, you know, of being lost in the world. Everybody has something that they've struggled with.
We were saying earlier the polished look.
Yes.
Right?
I love saying that. It's like we all are a polished version of ourselves when we're at an event like this or we're out for dinner with friends. And I don't know if it's just me, I'm pretty sure it's not. But sometimes you go home and you close that door and you're like, whew, man, they didn't get to see the real. You know, they didn't get to see me feeling sorry for myself and having those days. And I think it's important to honor those days. What's really important is not to stay in those moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, at Ledoux, we talk about cowgirl spirit and tenacity.
Yeah.
And innovation, imagination, work ethic.
Yeah.
How does that translate into finding the beauty in the chaos?
Well, if you have, I love people that seem to have overcome the odds. They have that spirit. Again, it's like, just go for it. You can live your dream life despite anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do. I'm standing exactly in my life, exactly where I want to be. The power that you get from that is crazy. Even though someone else may not understand it, but they don't need to understand it. And I know we had talked earlier before this is, you'll be weren't you standing at a bank machine somewhere and someone told you, tell that story.
Yeah, actually I was going to meet Tracy Keith for a glass of wine, but I had to stop at the bank and make a deposit because who gets checks these days, but I had to stop. So there's this fellow standing in the ATM thing, we're all masked up, COVID, and I'm like, okay, is he coming, is he going? Anyways, 45 minutes later, because he starts chatting with me, and he tells me his story, and he's actually working for an NGO now, and actually he should probably be there in Africa. He was leaving on July 1st. He loved what we got sharing his story, our story with Butler Ledoux. I've made a donation to him, he's made a donation to our event, and it's like, who knew? So I had to ring, sorry Trace, got held up at the ATM.
With a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And
who's my new best friend.
Well, that's what I love about Lenore's story, is we have women, and men too, who have gone through these, she has just such a beautiful grace about her. We wouldn't be able to be sitting here today, especially as women, and knowing that you can do whatever you want. The world is there for you. If you don't tell that story, it gets lost. You can never have it lost.
No, it's been a dream of ours since we started Ledoux, the committee and I, that we get Lenore captured on this video, so we have it archived, and we're going to share it with the Stampede Foundation, the Stampede Historical Archive Committee, so it's there forever.
Yeah, and she gets to share the spirit of this one. Mm-hmm. I love this picture.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about roping really, but this is a very difficult I'm just happy if I can hold tree pose without falling out of it. And she's hanging off a saddle, upside down, throwing a loop. I mean, it's pretty spectacular.
And to that point is you don't know when you're walking through your daily life what you're going to give to someone, some kind of strength or some kind of courage. You don't know what someone else is, and they're looking at you, or they're looking at me, or they're looking at anybody in this room, and they're like, I want that. Mm-hmm. That's the power. It's a beautiful place to be.
It is. I thank you so much for being with us here today.
Allie,
and sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
And it maybe just, because Wendy and Lenore made mention of the book, so if you haven't seen it.
It's an amazing read.
Yes,
it really is.
It is really a good read.
Yeah.
And never forget when I logged online and saw the announcement that the book was being released. I went, oh my gosh, this is so excellent. So became fast friends with Wendy and Lenore after that.
Well, wouldn't it be fun for her to see the legacy she has left behind?
Yes.
Because I don't think we realize that. You know, it would be the best thing I always say is the best thing is if you could attend your own funeral.
That's
Because then
right.
you can see how many people love you.
Well, and as Lenore said,
Or not.
as Lenore said, she doesn't have any living relatives, and so this is in her honor.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Allie, thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to doing some skiing this
Oh,
winter.
absolutely. Hey, and we didn't cry.
I know, that's because I forgot the Kleenex at the table. So now we're going to go to a little memorial tribute, but before we do that, I want to just mention that Tracy Keith is a member of the Ladue Ladies Lunch Committee, and she introduced us to Norm Swen, and who had become a longtime friend and supporter of Ladue. Having spent 32 years in the Western wear and apparel business, Norm became very good friends with Terry Duffy of Dan Post Boots. And I'm pleased to say that Norm introduced us to Terry, and who then also became a good friend. And then Terry decided he would donate a couple of pairs of Dan Post boots, and we usually used to start off the event by giving a pair away. But I'm saddened to say that Terry passed away this spring, and I asked Norm if he would just prepare a little memorial tribute. So here's the video with Norm remembering our dear friend Terry.
Good morning, ladies, and the odd gentleman. My name's Norm Swen. It's been my honor and privilege to have been able to attend a number of Ladue Ladies Lunches in the past due to my affiliation to the Calgary Stampede and being involved in the Western retail. I've watched the Ladue lunch grow from a small charity with one scholarship to 9, and I'm very proud to have been able to support this charity. I have a friend of mine, Terry Duffy, who was the sales manager for Dan Post Boots, that I invited along one year to show him what it was all about, and he was so impressed with the organization and the charity that he wanted to get involved. At the very beginning of every Ladue Ladies Lunch that we've had in the past, we always do a heads or tails game, which is an elimination of tossing a coin and you either pick heads or tails. At the end, the winner wins a pair of Dan Post boots that was supplied by my friend Terry Duffy and Dan Post Boots. I unfortunately have the news that my friend and your benefactor, Terry Duffy, passed away earlier this spring suddenly. He made it to every one of the Ladue lunches over the course of 6 years and was always there to support and, again, you know, mix it up with 300 women in a room. So Dan Post has graciously agreed to continue on the sponsorship, and that's based on Terry Duffy's legacy. So again, this year they will be contributing a pair of boots, and hopefully for a long time to come. Thank you very much for listening to my tribute to Terry Duffy, and congratulations to everyone involved in this great charity. I look forward to seeing everybody next year when it'll be live and we can get back together in one room. Thank you and have a great day.
All right, I was initially told we'd have 8 minutes for this segment, but we've been cut back to 6 minutes. I guess they know when you get 2 former politicians on the stage, you gotta be pretty tight on the time.
Plus, we're used to question periods, so I don't know who's supposed to ask the questions.
That's right. I'll cut you off at 35 seconds. Okay. So let me just introduce our next guest, Ladue Legends and Legacy Award, to a very deserving recipient. Through our research on Florence, we discovered that women of the era possessed certain traits that we recognize in successful women in Western Canada today. It's now become our annual Stampede tradition to appreciate and celebrate women who encompass the spirit of Florence Ladue. The Legends and Legacy Award recipient embodies the cowgirl spirit with qualities of tenacity, innovation, authenticity, imagination, and unwavering work ethic. And in recognition of her inspiring character, epitomizing life with cowgirl spirit, we have the Honorable Rona Ambrose. She's been selected to receive the Legends and Legacy Award, which is on the table here. Congratulate Rona Ambrose.
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
I know you're such a great supporter of this event. Why is this event so important to you?
I love this event. I love this event because you come together to celebrate women, and everyone in this room knows what I mean, that just won't quit and won't take no for an answer, and sometimes might even raise a little hell if they need to get things done. And I love that. I love that Western spirit. I love the underlying sentiment in this room about recognizing our history. It was just so inspiring to listen to Lenore. But I have to say, just being recognized for Get Cowgirl Spirit is really a thrill for me. And when Allison called me, I was really excited and touched, obviously, but I also said to her, does this mean I get to wear a sash? Because at my age, this is as close as I'm going to get to being a rodeo princess, is getting this.
We will arrange that, Allison.
But she said no sash, there's no sash. No, it's a thrill.
And I know you showed up here with another Hellraiser too. Do you want to
Yeah,
mention
speaking
who
of
else is in the
women,
room?
speaking of women who don't take no for an answer and don't quit and sometimes even raise a little hell for a great causes. Lorene Harper is here with me.
Woohoo! Now, I only have 3.5 minutes to talk to you about politics, but our Prime Minister was in town yesterday. Did you know
Really?
this?
No, was he?
I know I speak for my husband when I say we kind of wish that you had been in that role.
Well, I speak for my husband when I say that we wish you were in that role.
I think
so it goes both ways.
Well, both of us know how hard the life of politics is, but tell us, what's your take on where things are at right now?
I think, no one will be surprised to say I think that we need some conservatism injected back into federal politics. And when I say that, I mean people that are concerned about the fiscal situation in this country, the economy. We've got a government in Ottawa who is really in many ways in conflict with our economy here in Alberta. So we have to, not only through our premier and our provincial government, but also those who go to Ottawa to fight for us, to continue to make the case for the economy that drives so much of our prosperity and here at home, and to educate and really teach people what it means to be an Albertan, and what it's not just a cultural thing. It is what drives this province. And I think there's still some teaching to be done there.
Mm-hmm. Bob I thought, totally. I told Bob he could go grab some lunch. He said, I don't want to be eating if you guys are going to talk about Western alienation. I figured that would all give us a little indigestion. But why don't you tell us a little bit about Western culture and what is so different? Because you've traveled the entire country. You represented the Federal Conservative Party. What makes Alberta so unique?
Well, I think there isn't a day that goes by as a woman who lives in Canada that I'm not thankful that I was born in Alberta and in Canada. We know as women that we, on paper, there's all the laws to protect us. We have a good legal framework. We know we are equal on paper, but it takes more than paper, right? I mean, we need to have culture, we need to have societies, we need to have communities and families that really support equality in the truest sense of the word. And I just think that is something that is embedded in Western culture. The earlier Allison was talking about it, the innovation, the tenacity, the work ethic, the sense of independence. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to use that word right now, but but all of that really is underpins our Western culture. So when people say, is there really a culture? It's there. And if you grow up in that environment, you internalize those values. And I think they're a big part of who we are.
Fantastic. Now, Rana told me that she has stampede parties and rodeo every single day. So we do have one additional thing to give you to add to your wardrobes. And I hope when I see you, because I'm going to be...
It's not a sash?
It's not a sash, but it's even better. And we're going to do a little bit of close-up on this. Allison is going to be presenting you with this absolutely gorgeous belt buckle.
Oh, thank you.
Do we want to do a close-up on that?
Listen, many of you know that my husband was a professional bull rider for years. So now I'm going to have a belt buckle that really is worthy of standing beside him. Thank you. That is gorgeous. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. That's beautiful.
You did representing Alberta. We'd love to see you back there
Never
again
stop.
one day.
We never stop, and you too. Thank you.
You bet. All right. We are also going to honor another Hellraiser. I saw her in concert at the Edmonton Folk Festival, but I'm going to throw it over to Bob to give the next introduction.
Well, this will be brief, but in this actual room, I can't tell you how many decades ago, but there was a gal, Katie Lang, was performing, and all of our friends chatted about this wild entertainer, so we all piled in here. I can't remember if it was Stampede or probably was, but it was Katie Lang. And so in any event, Katie Lang has a short and brief message for us. She's won 6 Juno Awards and 4 Grammys. And I saw her live at the Olympics in Vancouver. She sang Hallelujah there and kind of took the house down. So let's just have a brief word from Katie Lang.
Hi there, it's Katie Lang. I'd like to thank the Ledoux Ladies Lunch for all your support for the women and the scholarships that you provide. Maybe sometime we can have a picnic out here in the prairies. Let's do it. All right. Thank you for everything. Go team, go.
You know, I was trying to help Danielle out. I wrote a question down for her. I was hoping she could take it into her conversation, Rona, but and that was that the Western spirit is about helping a neighbor and helping a friend in need. And I was just going to query about if the $60 billion we send to Quebec, is that considered cowboy spirit, I think?
You're definitely helping a friend in need, aren't we?
Okay, I'll stay out of that area. But next, we'd like to introduce Allison Brace, who's a 4th-generation farmer from the Sundre area. And the Sundre happens to be where the rodeo competitors are housing their animals during Stampede this year. And she was crowned Miss Rodeo Sundre 2017, a title that she then took to as Miss Rodeo Canada, where she represented her favorite town and rodeo during an amazing year. She's received many scholarships during her time in college and then became a registered veterinarian technician. She gained appreciation for any scholarship aimed at providing young people with the opportunity to better themselves and believes that the Ledoux Ladies Lunch embodies that completely. She's now sponsorship director of the Sundre Rodeo and Race Association. And most importantly, she is the Ledoux ambassador and scholarship administrator. So she's here to explain the categories that are forthcoming on these awards. So this is to introduce Allison Brace.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Ledoux Ladies Lunch event. So the Ledoux Ladies Lunch was founded by some really incredible and driven women who wanted to create a scholarship to distribute funds to young women to help them further their scholastic goals and dreams. They created this scholarship under the name Ledoux Ladies Lunch in memory of Florence Ledoux, who was an incredible cowgirl during her time. She was a pivotal member in the creation of the Calgary Stampede alongside her husband Guy Wiedek, and she also was a great trick roper during her time and just an all-around fantastic cowgirl. We have 2 different categories when it comes to our scholarship. So we have our Cowgirl Spirit category, which is for girls who may not be active in a rodeo arena, they may not even have a horse, but they have that same drive and that same work ethic and tenacity that you would find in your typical cowgirl. So they have all of these amazing qualities, they just might not show them off in a rodeo arena. Then we have our Cowgirl Tough category, and these are for our girls who are active in a rodeo arena. They might compete in cutting or they might show cattle, but they're actively showing off these Cowgirl Tough qualities in an arena. They have the same cowgirl qualities that we would think of when envisioning a cowgirl, and they are ones that are showing it off and showing their talents every single day. I was beyond excited to be asked to have this role last year, and this year was also incredible. We had a great year last year. We had record numbers, and this year was not far behind with our application numbers. So thank you to all the ladies who took the time to apply, and I hope you'll continue applying. It's such a great program and such a great way to further yourself in your education and in your goals and dreams. So thank you to everyone for taking the time to apply. Thank you to the Ledoux Ladies Lunch for having me on your team. I am beyond excited to be a Ledoux lady and beyond excited to be here for this event. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody, and a great summer, and we'll see you next year.
Wow. What an outstanding, beautiful, intelligent young woman that is there.
And there's a few others that we're going to be
There certainly are. We've had some great recipients who've gone to use their funds for studying in diverse fields, and we've got messages from 3 of them.
Morgan, Ava, and Brittany. They have a special word for us now.
I'm excited for more ladies to receive this scholarship. It just shows that there's a community behind you that really wants you to do well. It's important to have support because everything in this world is interconnected. Every action has a reaction. And in aiding tough and spirited young ladies achieve their dreams, the Calgary Stampede is sending greatness out into the world.
I feel like scholarships like this one are important because it not only honors history but continues tradition. It's important to show that women of the West are still strong and thriving today. And scholarships like these are giving people like myself the opportunities to do so every day.
I'm very honored to have been surrounded by these women, not only as a recipient, but to work with all the individuals that go behind the Ledoux Ladies Scholarship. So for all the applicants this year, good luck, and I cannot wait to see our recipients for this year's Ledoux Ladies Scholarship.
Good. Okay, so you heard from Alyssa of that. There's essentially two categories here. The Cowgirl Tough Scholarship Award, and that is presented to individuals with athletic ability inside the rodeo arena. And the second
is the Cowgirl Spirit. But first, let me just say the Ledoux Ladies Lunch Scholarship Foundation has awarded over $70,000 to young women in Alberta since its inception. The program offers 2 distinct categories for 8 promising young women in both high school and then those pursuing post-secondary education. We just mentioned that the 2 categories, Cowgirl Tough, and Bob will be announcing the winners there. I will be announcing the winners for Cowgirl Spirit. The 2021 applicants are participating in a pool of $10,000 of awards, and the applicants are asked to answer 4 key questions with a 600-word essay, which are then judged anonymously by a panel of 7 judges. A list of accomplishments, abilities, and volunteer efforts must accompany the essay. So let's get on with it then, Bob. You go ahead and start talking about the Cowgirl Tough.
Well, the Cowgirl Tough. So we will announce right now the second place winner of the Cowgirl Tough is McKinley Wall. So McKinley, congratulations. And the first place winner of the High School Tough is Claire Taylor. Congratulations, Claire.
All right, and now for the high school awards for Cowgirl Spirit. Once again, it's presented to an applicant for her leadership, social responsibility, community involvement, and interest in Western heritage. And once again, it doesn't necessarily have to be participating in rodeo sports now. You can be a cowgirl without a horse. And so here they are for the, first off, for this high school Cowgirl Spirit. We've got second place winner of High School Spirit, Trinity Colley, and the first place winner of High School Spirit, Ali Chernoff.
So now we go up the ranks to post-secondary awards in the same categories. So the winner, or the second place winner of the Cowgirl Tough post-secondary award is Bailey Hines. And the first place winner is Kira Schneider.
All right. And to round it out, the post-secondary Cowgirl Spirit Awards go to second place winner Julie Sharp and first place winner Natalie LaForest. Congratulations to both of you. All right, so I think we're just moving. Oh yeah, we've got one more sponsor break that we've got to acknowledge. Congratulations once again to the 2021 recipients. We also want to thank Ledoux Crew, a small but mighty group who work behind the scenes to make this all happen. They are Allie Keene, Tracy Keith, Wendy Doherty, Amanda Fedor, Elisa Brace, Anna Maria Hewitt, and Victoria Wiring. Thank you so much to all of you for the work that you're doing. And once again, we'll be back with an update on how our fundraising is going, but first, a word from our principal sponsor, BMO.
Excellent. Thank you, BMO, once again. Okay, I've been handed a slip of paper to give us an update on how we're doing on the raffles, etc. And the numbers are looking good, but it's still open. So if you haven't had a chance to log on, then log on to the ladyledoux.lunch.ca and get at your bidding. Raffle ticket sales are now at $16,430, which is very nice. And the auction so far has raised $9,570. So that's good news, and it's going to continue through to the end of this lunch.
The ladies really want that wine
That
raffle.
wine
Let's see if
raffle
we can
is
get those numbers up
coming hard.
on the auction items. There's a few more other items there. Do you want to talk about the first one?
Well, yeah, there is. There's right behind Danielle is this bronze here.
Oh,
I don't
can
know
we
if they
do a close-up on there?
Can you zoom her in? And that is Florence Ledoux on her beautiful bronze roping, and it's a commissioned piece for well-known artist Sandy Farr. So that's definitely one worth bidding on.
And it's number 10 out of 25 that will ever be cast. So it is going to be prestigious and unique to have it in your home. Other auction items include a strand of precious black pearls, a beautiful custom-made Smith-Built hat from Holly Allen of Smith-Built. We also have an evening of luxury for two right here at the Palliser Hotel, and fabulous infield rodeo tickets. Now, once again, the auction is going to close Friday, July 9th at 3 p.m., so we're getting pretty close there, right? No, that's tomorrow. Is it today? Day? Oh, we got a lot of time. Lots of time. So it closes tomorrow at 3 p.m. And you mentioned as well the raffle.
Yes, and so the raffle's underway. We actually have a door prize here. Isn't that something? And it's right here in front of Danielle and I, and it's a beautiful bag full of lovely things.
You let me tell you what lovely things are in there. It's our door prize courtesy of Olna Life. 2 quilted lap blankets plus 1 waxed canvas carry tote, all with the Ledoux logo on it. And you can have a look here. I should just give you a little bit of a background on Naomi Carr, who started Olna Life with her mother, Olga. Olga started making dignity packs when Naomi joined her mom in this endeavor. She thought that they could make their own product lines to sustain charitable giving. So now they design and make their own eco-friendly products that they sell. Bags, tote bags, backpacks, water bottles. Products are sustainable and reusable, and all proceeds from the sale are put back into the community for the really vulnerable in our community. Here they are to talk about why they do this important work. Check this out.
If you give back to people, it lifts them up and gives them a little bit of their dignity back. Because if they have hope and they have dignity and they feel connected to a community, it can really change their lives.
Knowing what people will receive this, they probably haven't had very much. And that the joy that it brings them, it makes everybody happy.
If you can do one small thing, it makes a huge difference.
All right, we got a door prize giveaway. I think we did this in a special way. We did a little roulette wheel. Do I have that right? Are we going to show a little roulette wheel here now and see who wins this great prize?
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Once again, it's Olna Life, 2 quilted lap blankets, 1 waxed canvas carry tote, all with the Ledoux logo on it. And our winner is... Oh, Jane Hine. Congratulations to Jane Hine. That's fantastic.
Is Jane in the room
Is
today?
Jane in the room? She might be online.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she's drinking
God.
wine over.
She's drinking wine online.
There you are.
There we go. Excellent. Now,
I think we got some music.
we've got, oh, great. We've got our fantastic band up here again. So I don't know if this is one of your songs you're singing or... Oh, good. Okay. Well, stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads First lady brings you to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads.
I hear a voice in the morning as she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get the feeling that I should have come home yesterday. Yesterday,
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, oh, country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, take me home, country roads, take me home, country roads.
Woo! All right. Thank you.
All right, well, we've got a lot of things happening. Take me home, country road. Take me home to my wine cellar of 100+ bottles of wine in that raffle. And the raffle, we understand, closes at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
today.
Oh, yeah. You've got
So-
time on the auction, which is until tomorrow, but you've only got, it looks like, about 28 minutes before the raffle closes. And I should just mention, we want to try to get that up to $20,000. There's currently $16,430. Let's just push it up. Let me remind you what's in there. 120 bottles of wine, 8 virtual tastings, 2 tickets to premier wine tasting events. It's a $4,000 package. So all you have to do is go to laduladies.lunch.ca.
Yes, and you got about less than half an hour to get at it, so let's get that number up.
And one more thing, because it is a fundraiser, did we mention it's a fundraiser?
Yeah, I think
it's a
so.
fundraiser. I should also mention that Dylan and Megan Stoyanov have been watching from Toronto, and they donated $2,500 in a scholarship in Ronna Ambrose's name. So thank you so much, Dylan and Megan. And they are
Thank you.
challenging others to do the same. So if anyone feels so inspired, you can also donate. And also, Jane was watching online. So
Yes.
Jane knows that she's
Jane
won,
knows
the,
she
won
won.
the door prize.
Well, I think that just about wraps it up for us today. Thank you so much to the Ladue organizing group, your fantastic community work, and everyone have a wonderful Calgary Stampede and a wonderful balance of summer without masks and hugging friends.
Don't we have to do one great big Yahoo? Isn't it? We're supposed
Yeah,
to
I
do to
think we
launch
should
things
do a
up?
Yahoo.
All right, you do it. You lead
All
it,
right, on
boss.
the count of 3. All of you out at Audie's place, we want you in this too, all right?
You got it.
1, 2, 3.
Yahoo! Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye now.
Heading down south to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing my way into North Carolina. Staring up the road, pray to God I see headlights. Made it down the coast in 17 hours.